is Rin Tin Tin because I'm twice as nice, and this is the Drop Hip Hop Uncensored, the ultimate hip hop show La Mzansi Africa. Today, I'm joined by a radio DJ, hip hop DJ, a brand ambassador, and all-round chocolate flame, Coco Brown. Hello.
Hey, Mama.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Now, the first question I want to ask you is, when did you fall in love with hip hop?
Yeah. It's so weird, like, being asked this question, because then I'm the one that's so
Always
asking people, when did I fall in love with hip-hop? Definitely in primary school. Having grown up in Soweto, I think, like a lot of us at the time, house music was certainly bigger than hip-hop, right?
And Kwaito as well.
And Kwaito, yes, definitely. And then I went to boarding school, you know what I mean? And then that's where I met a lot of people, you know, and that's where I also, like, learned, like, much more than, you know, I did musically. So I think definitely high school, primary school. And the first rap I can remember paying attention to was Nas. And this was with his album Illmatic.
But it's a beautiful piece of work, hey?
Definitely.
Till this
So
day,
on
I
my
feel like it's
face.
one of the most timeless pieces of work ever to be released.
No, for sure.
Now, you mentioned that you're always the one always having to ask people this question.
Yeah.
So now my next question is, when did you start with the radio? Because if you started with hip-hop in primary school, something in you was evoked from that moment.
Yeah. So at the time when I was in primary school, I didn't know that I wanted to be on radio. I just knew that I loved this thing. And then in high school, actually, I was 15 years old. I remember at the time there was the Midnight Fix. Tolly B had a show on YFM called The Midnight Fix. And I'd come back from boarding school. And because I was just so eager to find out, like, what was going on around me, because, I mean, I'm away at school and I don't have access to, you know, the media at the time, like newspapers, TV, nothing. So I wanted to, like, come back this side and kind of get as much as I could, you know. So I'd stay up and I'd listen to the radio, and I just remember thinking, flip, this is so cool. I want to do this. And I was 15 years old.
It's a very young age.
Yeah, it is, you know. But then I only got, you know, into radio, like, much, much later after I left varsity. And yeah, I've never looked back since.
So you are currently, you know, you are a writer.
Yeah.
You are doing radio.
Yeah.
Do all those aspects now stem from you trying to preserve the culture of hip hop?
I think yes. To answer your question, yes. But I also think it also comes from being self-conscious. You know what I mean? I think you know, doing what we do, you cannot be in this space and not know who you are. And not add value into conversations that you have with other people. So writing, I actually, in varsity when I was at UJ, I was part of the hip hop and poetry society. And a lot of my friends were rappers, and some of them were poets. But I knew that I couldn't rap. I knew that I wasn't a poet. But I knew that I could also express myself. But I couldn't
put it into words.
Yeah,
or
like I don't know how I could, you know, what was I? You know, like I can't rap, but I knew I connected with these people. And then, like, before leaving UJ, and I'm like, actually, I just like to write stuff. You know, I don't necessarily want to share it. I just like to write, and that's what it was. And then, you know, much later on, then I got my own show. Oh, I did psychology, by the way, at UJ, you know.
Really?
And I think, you know, that and understanding how kind of the human mind works, and my writing kind of helped me to be more self-aware, and as a result, want to do the job that I have now.
So if I were to ask you, would you ever write music? Because you say that you can't rap or can't write.
Yeah.
That's out of the question for you.
I mean, I could try, but
It's just
I'm
not
not a
there.
rapper.
You're not gonna force it.
I like to, like, make fun of people and say, I could totally come for this person's career if I tried to rap. but no, man, I think I just also respect the art too much to try and make mockery out of it in that regard. But writing music, I don't know. Maybe. I would want to, like, learn first. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to just, at the top of my head, just want to rap and write music.
Okay, now I want us to just move from the professional side a bit.
Yeah.
I want to know, personally with you.
Uh-huh.
What are your top 3 pet peeves?
Whew. It's weird. Do not judge me if you see this, but I hate the sight of a toilet. Like, I cannot stand this. Like, I cannot.
What do you use?
I'm in the toilet, but I don't want to see what's inside it. I don't want to see it open. I do not want to hear someone talk about it. I just...
You just don't like it.
I hate the sight of a toilet, guys. I hate
So
it.
when you go to the bathroom, you close your eyes.
I mean, listen, I also control the narrative. So I'll make sure that it's clean, right? I'll make sure. And that'll be the one time I actually pay attention. But I'm not going to be going randomly and seeing what's inside the toilet. No.
What's your second pet peeve?
My second one is I hate people that lick their fingers when they eat. I find it to be so disgusting.
People that eat with their hands.
No, that's fine, but I mean, you can eat and not...
But my thing is, how do you remove the food on your
Ew,
fingers?
it's so gross. Like, it's... No.
So how do you, when you eat using your hands, what do you do with the leftover crumbs on your fingers?
I wash my hands.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
I mean, listen, like this friend of mine, right?
You're authentic.
Sivu. We always get into an argument over this. So he insists on having a piece of meat with 2 fingers. So if you use more than 2 fingers, he's gonna have it with you.
So you can't eat it like this. You have to eat it
yeah,
like this.
and I hold my piece of meat like this. Trust, like I'll even use 2 hands if I have to. He's like, I don't understand. You need 2 fingers. Like,
does he lick his fingers when he eats?
I don't think so. I've never seen him lick fingers when he eats.
Oh, maybe he just respects the fact that it's one of your biggest pet peeves.
I don't think he even knows this, actually.
What's the last one?
The last one... What's the last one? Probably snoring.
So what happens if...
I know, it's like the universe was like, ha ha! Because my boyfriend snores so much, guys, you. But, yeah, no, the hot one's only one. So.
Okay. Back into your professional space. You're an interesting human being, I must add. Back into your professional space. Now, you're doing radio and you're working with brands.
Yeah.
What's your take with creatives partnering with brands? Because there's a lot of debacles that are surfacing with influencers or artists or creatives in general who are being, I don't want to say robbed, but who are exploited by brands. So what's your take on that?
Flip. I mean, the conversation is always going to be biased for me because I'm an artist, ultimately, you know what I mean? But I think it's also important to understand why you are doing the work that you do. For me, personally, the campaigns that I've done I've always wanted to get something out of them. Do you know what I mean?
So you just don't do them? For the
No,
fun
it needs
of
to make sense for me. Like, why am I doing this? Why do I want to be affiliated with this brand? So I'll make an example. For instance, a few years ago, I did the Strawberry Lips campaign. That makes sense at the time because I wanted to establish myself as a DJ. You know what I mean? So it made sense to affiliate myself with Strawberry Lips, who is very pro-women and pro-female DJs.
But you know what I find it's like you were very meticulous in your campaigning because you went to Fuse Academy.
Yeah.
And then Strawberry Lips.
Yeah.
And you know, Strawberry Lips, so it is like, hey man, have your ducks in a row.
You know what I mean? You have to be deliberate in the work that you choose. And then also I think about, the campaign that I did. So the Sabenza Girl campaign is actually our campaign. I'm saying our because I was in a DJ duo. So, my former partner and I were the ones that were behind the campaign. So again, it was a campaign that was pro girls. Like that's one of the things that I'm so big on. You know what I mean? So and with the Sabenza Girl campaign, obviously we're trying to have girls' voices heard and whatever. But also we also got to doing a remix for them. So a lot of people don't do this. Don't know this. Sorry, but Foschini has like the head office of Foschini in Cape Town only has girls working for them. Right?
Really? That's so dope.
Yeah. So they only have girls. So they created the song to kind of to increase the morale at work, and then they had a song done of the future is female, and then they brought in the Brownies at the time to create the remix of the song, which worked out for me, because then again, brand alignment, it made sense for what I'm trying to achieve.
And also with your morale as well.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there has to be a continuation of the story that you're trying to tell. And then my latest campaign was really just also trying to establish myself outside the DJ duo. I think that's what it was. So when G-Star reached out, I was like, yeah, of course I'll do this.
Why not?
You know what I mean? It's one of the brands that I absolutely respect. And again, it makes sense for me, with where I am right now in my career.
So, girl power. Then there's radio.
Yeah.
Then there's DJing.
Yeah.
Then you mentioned that the reason that you had to leave the DJ duo was because you gained every single skill that you wanted, and everything that you wanted, that you had to grow from it.
Yeah.
Now my next question follows, because you've outgrew a lot of things and have done a lot of things in the industry as well.
Yeah.
Do you have management? Do you have someone managing you? Who is now,
No. So, the core thing I can say I learned from Zintle when I was about to graduate from school was how important it is to, first of all, know what you're trying to do, of course, but also learn the business. You know what I mean? So, from booking my own gigs to doing my own marketing, handling my own social media, networking, those little things, like the admin side of the business. All those things have ultimately made me more confident in what I want to do and what I want. And also, it's just been so hard. Like, it's hard to find someone that kind of understands your vision and where you want to go. And I think that's why it's also been so hard for me to kind of get the right person. I mean, there have been a few people I've attempted, like, don't get me wrong. It's not to say I've said, no, you can't manage me. I'm not,
you're not difficult.
I'm not. I'm just trying to find the right person for me.
But also, it's very important to find someone who is synonymous with your vision as well. Because
Exactly.
someone could be a very good manager,
Exactly.
but their vision and their way of doing things is very different to yours.
Exactly.
So you guys don't really,
Exactly.
gel. So now, you are a phenomenal woman. You know what I mean? You are very efficient. Even through our emails, you are the most efficient woman I've ever worked with. Girl,
Thank you.
listen. Now, I want to ask you, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Flip, my 18-year-old self. I wish, you know what, I think about this a lot, like, and I spoke about it promptly on the show that's about to come out on SVC1.
Name drop, exclusive.
I said, because I look at the young kids that are coming up right now, and like the trap stars and the rappers. A lot of them are starting out so young, like they're like 16, 17, they've barely left high school, and they're so self-aware. I wish and I also think that the confidence comes from having the support, right? Whether it's from home, but also your peers and social media and etc. I wish that I had started earlier in my career, but circumstances at the time didn't allow for me to do so. Though I did know what I ultimately wanted to do, I feel like now in retrospect, I'm like, even if I couldn't pursue music or DJing full time, maybe I could have started doing this or doing that. I didn't even have friends actually in Joburg until I came back, I didn't, because like all my friends were in boarding school. And even the ones that are from here were also in boarding school with me. So I would say, got an identity as soon as I came back to Joburg. You know what I mean? So my advice would be, if you know what it is that you want to do, start now. Don't wait for your talent or your skill to be perfect. Start now. Reach out to the people that you look up to. And I'm not saying annoy them on a bit.
Hey, those DMs.
Yo, because, people be entitled, eh? Yeah. But reach out and follow, you know what I mean? Study and learn, because, at this point with the lockdown, we are not getting gigs. But I've also taken this time to kind of perfect my own art, you know what I mean? So when the opportunity and, when it comes and I'm ready for it. So do the best that you can to prepare, and also just perfect your craft. That's it.
Speaking of perfecting craft, you have a lot on your CV, right? So what more can we expect moving forward from Coco Brown? Any albums? I was actually any albums?
So I definitely I mean, I had wished to have my music out this year. But I mean, there's still time. We don't know.
There's a lot of time.
That's one thing I have my finger on right now.
Okay, so we're expecting projects from you.
Yes,
I actually
definitely.
can't wait. I hope we get an exclusive to play it on the drop.
You just might.
Well, maybe it's better than a no. Or maybe it's much better than a no. What are your social media handles and where can people book you for gigs?
Okay, cool. So I am Coco Brown, ZA, one word, on all my social media platforms, and on there's also my booking email. So as soon as you follow me, you'll be able to contact me via my email.
Miss Coco Brown, you are a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much
for
pulling through. I hope to have you again.
Definitely
in
invite
future.
me. I'll come.
I will. You are very efficient in replying, so I'll definitely hit you up.
Appreciate it.
And I can't wait to hear your mix in the booth. It is bomb. I was
you guys
listening to
enjoy
it
it?
last night, and I'm like, this shit bangs.
Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. It was meant for you.
My name is Rin Tintin because I'm twice as nice, and this is the Drop Uncensored signing out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your people to tell their people. Follow on all social media platforms. The Drop You on Twitter and the Drop Uncensored on Instagram. From my heart to yours, it's all love. Black Barbie signing out.